G'day, Angie, and thanks for allowing me into your inbox to have a look at your LinkedIn profile and give you some advice on what you can do to up-level that so that you can continue to build what already looks to be a fantastic career in the government. And what I find is quite often that women in particular in government undersell the value that they bring, undersell the amazing qualifications, experiences, skills that they have. And so I'm on a mission to help women in particular, but everyone in the government sector start to improve the way that they position and profile themselves so that we get leaders who truly step into their greatness for the future. So let me just jump across and share my screen and bring up your profile. So there's a few things that can be improved just a little. You've also got some great things already happening. I'm sorry, my dogs are making quite a ruckus in the background. So let's take a look here. Angie, profile picture, firstly, is fantastic. You've got a great profile picture. You're looking directly at the camera so people can see that you're someone who they can know, like, and trust. This banner image across the top, I'm guessing because you're in the transport department, that either it represents the connections that all of the transportation types and around the state maybe make, or because you're also in stakeholder engagement, maybe it's about connecting people to ideas and stakeholders to each other. The challenge with it is I'm not quite sure what it represents. It's eye-catching, which is nice. It draws you in, but it's not clear what it is that you do from that picture. So I would recommend that you, if you want to keep that banner, because it is nice, I would be adding some text or something to it, you know, going on a Canva template and just adding some text or something that is about the value that you bring, what it is that you're passionate about in the work that you do to that banner in a couple of words would suffice. Also here in this section where it's got your title, Senior Manager for Customer Engagement, I think that's great. It's great that it shows where you work and what you do. And it's character limited, but there's more space. So you could be utilizing this prime space, and we call this above the fold. So basically anything that I see above the screen before I need to scroll, everything that's above the fold really is where you want to be catching people's attentions. So I would highly recommend that you look for adding some other wording there above the fold. It's also, you've got a great little about piece here that could be fleshed out, I think, even more. There's some stuff here with bullet points, which is great because it's easy and quick to read, but that too could use some emojis or imagery without it looking cheesy, but to draw the eye and help people read that more simply. I love that your final statement, and I would even bring that up towards the top, because I think what you've said there about you're really about getting results and deciphering the legislative gobbledygook, I think that's great. That's a real standout kind of thing. And it says that you're good at communication, you understand the government, but also that you've got a sense of humor and you're a bit of a real person, which is nice, because quite a lot of these profiles that I see, particularly from government leaders, are a rehash of a resume. They're also really bland. They're often in government speak. And so they just sound like a policy document rather than this is a human who has skills and I want to learn more about her. Great that you've been doing some posting and reposting job availabilities and some of the key messages, obviously, that are coming out of transport, which is awesome. And it's really good that you've done the right thing by putting all of your experience in here and making sure you link it to the actual employer, because what that does is then brings up the employer's logos, which is great, because then you can actually see the places that you've worked and the education that you've gotten. And people are super visual, so they will just scan your profile and that helps them see what you're about, where you've been, what you've done. I'd love to see you use down here some actual recommendations from people. I don't see any there, and by reading through all the things that you've done, I know there's going to be people in your career who love the work that you've done and would be happy to share a recommendation. So that's just some of the top level of the first just grabbing a quick look at your profile. For anyone else who wants to improve their profile, I do have a free guide, and I'll send that to you, Angie, so that you can go through it step by step if you want a little bit more detail after listening to this. I've gone ahead and done a little bit of work on your actual about section, because I think that's where the gold is and where you could really amp things up a bit, particularly if you're looking to move into more senior leadership positions. I think we have to really think about not just rewriting the stuff that we've actually done, but actually positioning our skills and how they relate to future roles that we want to get. So in the recommendations, I'm saying get some recommendations from colleagues and people which cover some of the things that you want to be known for. So it's really coming back to knowing what's my personal brand, what do I want to stand for, what do I want to be known for, and making sure I'm getting recommendations, and I can show my job titles, I can show some of my experience and some of my wins and big projects maybe that I've worked on that attest to those skills that I want to be known for. Also, maybe look at engaging a bit more. You haven't engaged a lot as far as commenting on other people's and those sorts of things. I can understand we can have so many channels and ways that we can keep in touch, and we have focuses for where we spend our time and energy, but LinkedIn is hands down the best professional networking tool there is online. And more, it's that government people and government leaders in particular, I'm seeing, don't actually post very often and don't use it to comment on other people's. They just kind of cruise and look at other people's stuff without actually doing much in the commenting way. So it wouldn't be hard to stand out amongst your peers by actually doing a little bit of that. And I'm recommending here that could be just 10 minutes once a week, just to keep you top of mind and a bit more visible. So I've gone ahead in here and actually delved into the positioning matrix that I work with, which looks at how we position our leadership from whether we're manager, leader, or up to that kind of service area at the top. And so the language is a little bit different. It builds as it goes up into more executive kind of language from just functional language. It also looks at your confidence, your competence, and the credibility piece, because that's what's critical. What I find is that most government employees and leaders, and especially, as I was saying, women, focus on the competence. What are the skills they've got? What have they done? What have they been their job roles? And they're not so great at focusing on that credibility piece. So why am I trusted? Why do people choose me? What am I known for? What's my network say about me? And then lastly, that confidence piece is really lacking in so many people. So I'm sorry for my doggy in the background. Mabari. And so what I'm recommending here is a couple of little tweaks. We can see here just a really basic kind of background, a bit of your personal strengths, but really focusing in then on these higher level things, so that you're deeply passionate about driving positive change, that you're dedicated to enhancing public services, promoting inclusivity, fostering innovation, and addressing the evolving needs of community, because you're so involved in that stakeholder engagement piece. What I've recommended here, recommended here, no more. Let me just bring that back up. Sorry, it dropped off the page. In this center part is focusing in on that bit that you had about gobbledygook, because I actually thought that was really good and very positioning. Not everyone writes that. So saying Angie's uniqueness comes from her passion for making a difference, whether it's engaging stakeholders to participate in government decision-making, developing a campaign that results in desired behavioural change, or deciphering that legislative gobbledygook to help others understand it. She loves doing work that matters. So that, I think, would help you stand out from the crowd. I also love that you said in your profile that you genuinely love your job. I think it was in one of your posts, and that it's mostly because of the people you get to work with. And I think that's a real reflection of who you are and what you bring to the role. So amplify that by saying that you love what you do and you love the people that you work with, your ability to manage complex projects with complex stakeholders while leading cross-discipline teams in a calm, effective, no ego manner allows you to get results for everyone. I really hear that you don't have ego in your profile. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I think it's a good way. I think you're quite humble about your skills. I think you demonstrate integrity. And so I would be amplifying that, that people want people to work with, leaders that are straightforward and no BS and are real. Yeah. And it really comes across. So I think you could amplify some of that. I've got that you're award winning in your experience in stakeholder engagement. I would love to see you explain a bit more about that. So it says that you're award winning and that you use the IAP too, but I want to know more about that. So I think in your About Me section, you could delve in and maybe pull out some of the bits I've written here and then flesh them out with some examples. Tell us how you won an award. What was that project for? What kind of projects have you worked on or have you been known for? Because at the moment, what you've got seems very generic. We could actually pick it up and put it on someone else's profile and it wouldn't sound wrong. I want it to be your profile that no one else could copy because it's your work that you're talking about. I've got that you're respected for your strong ethical compass, your strategic thinking, and your collaborative approach, that you've earned the respect of colleagues and stakeholders for your dedication, your transparency, accountability, and inclusive decision making. And lastly, I've got that you're known for your innovative no-nonsense approach to fostering collaborative partnerships, and that you're known for your integrity, resilience, and unwavering commitment to the public service. So some of those words may resonate with you. Some of them you might say, I wouldn't say that about myself. And that's the value of this. I will deliver it to you now. You can tweak it. You can pull on bits and use it as you wish. I hope that's been of value. I'd love to see you boost that profile a bit more because I think you have super amazing skills there to really promote. And what employer wouldn't want someone that demonstrates your level of commitment without ego, that's a plain speaker, but that can navigate the gnarly difficulty of stakeholders in the government sector. And so I'd love to see you boost that profile and improve it. And I wish you luck in your ongoing career success. I think the people who get to work with you are very fortunate. So thanks for the opportunity to review your LinkedIn. Have a great day.